So it's Monday here on the podcast, and that means it's time for another mantra. This one that I'm sharing today is one that I created for myself probably about 6 weeks ago because I have struggled with motivation. Now, we've talked about motivation here before, and motivation is a choice, but this mantra is really going to help you shift from motivation to another powerful tool that you can use to just take action on whatever it is you are avoiding. So let this week's empowering mantra propel you forward. Let's make it a great week.
Well, hey there, I am Jennifer Roskamp, a certified life coach and homeschool mom of 9 who is passionate about helping women just like you embrace the here and now while also being focused on creating the life you actually want. As a midlife mom in her 40s, about to be a mom in my 50s, I've realized that it's so easy to lose yourself in caring for your family, your home, and all the things. Until one day you realize you're not even sure who you are anymore or what you even want in life. So on this podcast, we're going to work on managing yourself well so that you can manage all of the other things and people well too. So let's dive into what it means to manage your home, your time, your family, and yourself well. This is the Intentional Midlife Mom podcast.
So, in more recent days, probably in the last 6 to 8 weeks or so, I have really struggled with even doing the things that I typically enjoy doing. A lot of it for me is I live in Michigan and we're nearing the end of March now, and I suffer with seasonal affective disorder, meaning during those winter months, I struggle, right? And in Michigan, especially where I live, we go days, weeks at a time without seeing the sun. And I do have a UV light and take vitamin D and some other things, more homeopathic things that I do to help, but it still is there. It still is my reality. And so I know I'm not surprised when I say that me finding enjoyment and really finding the motivation I need to do the things that I don't usually struggle to do, I'm not surprised that this has been my journey. It's to be expected. I call looking at something like that, I call that using the lens of compassion for yourself. So when you're struggling with something, it's always helpful to take a pause for a minute and to ask yourself, does this make sense? Can I figure out why this is happening? And of course, the answer for me is yes, when I asked myself the question about why am I struggling? And specifically, the thing that this mantra came for, I guess what it came for and from, is the fact that I was struggling a lot. I was struggling more than I wasn't to get my workout done over the last 6 to 8 weeks. And like I said, I usually don't struggle with that. I've been running, working out, competing. I've been an athlete my whole life, but I've been, as an adult, my entire adult life. Also, I have been working out, getting to the gym, running, doing various things. And it's not normal for me that consistently I would struggle to do that. But that has been what it's been like for me the last 6 to 8 weeks. And so the mantra that I want to share with you today was created for me, but I know it will help you as well. Here it is. Then let discipline do it. Then let discipline do it. And the context in which this came was I was struggling to again choose motivation. And I didn't feel like choosing motivation. I've got episodes here where I talked about how motivation is a choice. You should go back and listen to those. They're super helpful as well. They'll provide a lot of additional insight into this mantra today, but I was struggling to choose motivation. And it was in the midst of one of those struggles that I thought, you know what? I don't have to have motivation then. Just let discipline do it. And so, especially these days, including today, when getting to my workout has felt impossibly hard, I've reminded myself that all I need is the discipline to do it. So I've got 3 things you need to know about discipline to help. Number one, discipline is a decision, not a feeling, much like motivation. Again, people wait to feel motivated. Well, the same is true for discipline. You're not going to feel disciplined either. Motivation and discipline, well, motivation, I will say, is more of an emotional thing than discipline because motivation is not consistent. It comes and goes. Whereas discipline is a choice you make and it is there for the long haul. It's like your ever-present friend. Discipline is there even when you don't feel like doing it. Discipline will carry you through. In reality, you don't need to feel ready. You just need to decide to act. In reality, this is true. You can't always trust your feelings, but you can trust the results of following through. I don't think there are any situations in which I have followed through with something that I knew I really wanted to do, especially something that took motivation or discipline, and I've done it. And on the other side, I've said, wow, I really wish I wouldn't have done that. No, right? The opposite is true. When you take the action, when you have sat at the starting line and struggled to get going, when you finally take that action and get to the other side, you have a huge sense of accomplishment, a huge sense of pride and joy for having just done it, gotten in there and done the hard stuff. And so just know that discipline is a decision, not a feeling. You also need to know that discipline builds self-trust. Every time that you follow through and do the thing that you said you would, you're telling yourself, I can count on me. And so discipline really isn't about being rigid, it's about creating reliability within yourself. Know this, you don't need to be perfect, you just need to be consistent enough to believe in yourself again. I like to teach it this way with my coaching clients. I like to say, a lot of times the overall goal should be that you do it more often than you don't. So, 4 days a week, you do the workout, 3 days you don't. Do you see how that's like you do it more, you do it more than you don't do it? And it isn't about this rigid perfection. It's about doing it often enough to be able to believe in yourself. The third thing you need to know about discipline is that discipline makes things easier over time. The first few times are the hardest. This is true in so many things, isn't it? The first few times are the hardest, but the more often you show up, the less effort it takes. And so, in this way, discipline creates habits, and habits remove the mental resistance. And I've got a whole full length class accelerator on habits. I have a lot to share on habits. But just to keep things simple, habits are the roadmap that take you to your goals. And habits, when they are repeated and repeated and repeated, they get to the point where they run on autopilot. And so it really eliminates this mental resistance that can happen when you're just trying to power through. That's the benefit to doing something often enough that it becomes a routine. And then you carry out that routine often enough that it becomes a habit. It's because that mental resistance gets removed. You just show up and do it, show up and do it, show up and do it. Here's what you need to know about discipline. You're not failing because you're lazy. You're often just stuck in decision fatigue, right? Discipline simplifies things. Again, when you're sitting at the starting line, thinking and overthinking, analyzing and overanalyzing, that's a huge part of the reason why you're stuck. Discipline doesn't care about any of those things. Discipline, again, just cuts through the noise and it just shows up and does the thing. So that was a really long episode on a really short concept, which is our Monday mantra. We have them every single week here on the Intentional Midlife Mom podcast. So discipline, just let discipline show up and do it then. That's your mantra for today. Let it carry you through this week and make this week an amazing week.